I promised you guys a while back that I would go over the most ideal plays that I knew how to play correctly and I could educate on so that we could have a video lesson library and different pictures of different stocks to go back, study, and learn from. So ABIO is a absolute perfect example of reverse split strategy right out of Roland Wolf's DVD guide. If you haven't picked that up, you definitely should. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over ABIO, reasons why I had such amazing patience, the reason why I took my entry, and the reason why I thought this one out of all stocks could really run. So let's start by first explaining the reverse split strategy. The reverse split strategy really revolves around the fact that the chemical makeup of the share structure of a stock completely changes when a stock does a reverse split. For ABIO's case, they did a 1-for-18 reverse split. What does that mean? So they had 18 million shares outstanding. Now they had 1 million shares outstanding. And that's what we call a micro float. When a million shares outstanding, that's micro float. And what that does to the stock is it makes it a whole nother beast of a stock. Whatever it did in the past is no longer applicable today as of the reverse split. This is a whole new beast, and I treat the chart as a very clean chart. And so the reason these companies do reverse splits is because they're at fear of being delisted, and or they need to shop around for financings and people don't want to invest in a company that is in the pennies. So what they can do is they can do a reverse split, change the chemical makeup of their share structure, and then manipulate their stock to ascertain some kind of market cap that's absolutely ridiculous. And then they can shop around for different financing options with their new market cap. And it interests different kinds of investors. So these recent reverse split stocks have huge incentive to manipulate their stock higher. And the way they do that is by releasing some pointless PR and bringing in volume. And once the volume is there, these manipulators have their way with their stock. And it's all about just being on the right side and knowing which ones can be manipulated and which ones can't be. And a huge giveaway is the fact that this is a micro float. Some other things that are really important when deciding, which stock is going to go really crazy is, are there any outstanding dilution? Is this stock a former runner? So ABIO I've been following for the past year. Every time it spiked, it kind of got absolutely destroyed. And why was that? Because there was outstanding dilution. But that outstanding dilution, for the most part, is done. So that added selling pressure is gone. And any short seller that thinks it's still there is not a good short seller. So there's no dilution. And another thing is that ABIO, I remember from 2 years ago, maybe 3, it was a different ticker. Or at least this was the assumption I was operating under. It was PBMD. And PBMD 3 years ago, same stock, was bought by a billionaire guy. I think it was George Soros. And after that news, PBMD ran from 2 to 6. So in my mind, ABIO was a micro float, recent reverse split, catalyst, former runner, and non-dilutive stock. And those are 5 very bullish variables to me. And then getting into the chart. So down here you have the daily chart. And like I said, I treat these reverse splits as brand new charts. So over 680, that's a breakout to me. I'm not going to buy initially on the breakout though. What I'm going to do is wait for volume to come in. We need volume. That's the last variable I need. I needed to see volume. I needed the stock to prove to me that it was going to be actively traded and there was going to be a lot of eyes on it. And that's what we got. So let's go to the intraday market action. So this is May 1st, yesterday, day 1. And the stock opens up and it has this really nice spike. And a lot of longs are buying this. I mean, obviously, longs are buying this spiking action. And they're not buying the bottom. They're just chasing it all the way up. And then lo and behold, none of them sell. And it starts dipping. And so now we have to think about the psychology of those longs immediately. Everyone that was buying 6, 7 that was up handsomely has now lost all their unrealized gains. And at this point, they're pretty much break even. So what I call this is max pain. This is where all the longs foolishly sell their chased longs. Everyone that chased is now going to sell because They're scared. They're worried. Emotionally, you just lost 50% of your gains. You don't want to lose money now from going up nicely to now down. So everyone starts to sell. And the stock isn't budging any further. It's max pain. It was max threshold. And that was a really interesting point to me, because the only way that this stock is going to start to uptrend is if the only way it's going to uptrend is if the bag holders from this morning sell their position. And that's exactly what happened. Everyone sold, but the volume sustained and it didn't start breaking down. And lo and behold, this level, 660, 680-ish, is this exact level I drew on the chart. So I knew that this was a level that mattered. I knew that all the longs had now sold their position. And what's left? Well, an uptrend and then the shorts to get squeezed. So, oh no. So I longed 600 shares at 680, which is roughly those green arrows right there. And at that point, my risk was a little vague. I knew that this had the potency to go crazy, but I also knew this had the ability to just absolutely fall through and hit, red, green, and then I'd have to cut the loss for like roughly 80 cents. But since I knew the reward was so massive, I also knew that I didn't have to take some kind of massive amount of shares. I didn't need 5, 10, 15,000 shares to make money, because I had realistic goals about this stock. I kind of knew what to expect after seeing BPTH and NBIO. So I only took 600 shares, and knowing that I'd risk 80 cents would still not be the worst loss for me. And then if I was patient and gave it a chance to work out, it could be fruitful. So the last equation, the last part of this equation was, how did I get this 15-point price target, and how did it become so accurate? And it's really just a huge pat on the back to technical analysis. So what I did was, I had this clean chart here, but I still checked the previous action. And I looked back, and this was at 5 a.m. I looked at this, and I saw every time that ABIO spikes, it spikes to 20 and then fails. And I immediately had a vision that ABIO was going to spike to 20.